of making videos about the Mitsubishi Mirage, calling it a car lost in time. Because in our fast-paced, crazy world, over here in, one of the biggest country in the world, well, one of the, is America the biggest? I don't know. Things are very, very busy. This is Los Angeles, California, and cars get updated very quickly. This is a 2000 Lexus RX. Only 10 years later, this is what it looked like. So just to see a car like this, that's very 90s-ish, in terms of styling and featuring, compared to most cars today, it doesn't have 1,000 screens that are circling the driver, and, they spin and flip around and do a backflip, A lot of people like to call this like a car frozen in time. But believe it or not, there are places in the world that don't change all that much, right? Good things stay good, like headphones, right? If you've ever heard Dank Pods talk about headphones. Good headphones stay good headphones forever. And that can be true with cars too, right? As long as they don't degrade and as long as the car company keeps making them, if they're really good at whatever they're good for, that's fine, right? And, over here, cars get used up, car companies stop making them, they keep refreshing them. People actually care about the cars, if they're refreshed. But in other parts of the world, all they needed to do is just work. This is the Australian Outback, and not a lot of our cars over here could brave that. So when a car company makes a specifically good car, they usually just keep making it over there. And the best example of a car truly frozen in time is the 1984 Toyota Land Cruiser. Now, when I say that this is a car frozen in time, I don't mean that this car looks modern, or that, you can find a lot of these cars. I mean, they are still selling it today. So, in 1984, they began producing it in 1984, and this was the 70 series Land Cruiser. So, let's talk about series. You had the BJ series, the 20 series, right? So, BJ was essentially war times. 20 series was kind of still, but, more commercial. Then you had the 40 series, the 55 series, and then the 60 series, right? The 60 series was for 1980. Things were moving fast. People wanted these vehicles, so Toyota just kept, chucking them out, and they said, you want to know what? In 1984, they came out with the 70 series, and that series has been sold in Australia continuously ever since that day. 1989, they got the 80 series. 1998, they got the 100 series. 2007, they got the 200 series. 2014, that thing. This is Japan. So this came back in Japan, limited time to celebrate, how long the Land Cruiser had been out for. Doesn't matter. And then the 300 series is the 2021, and now we have the 400 series, I believe. This car is still made today. Now, does that mean that they haven't updated it? For example, this is a This is a 2014 Australian Land Cruiser 70 series, and you can see she's a little bit more barren than the one that they officially have today. So let's look at this brand new one and just decide just how modern really is it, because they have given it updates. So first of all, I'm just going to choose we can see that very flat 90s styling, which is great. A snorkel, which cars don't have anymore. And let's go up some trim levels. So GX, $90,000. Remember, this is Aussie dollary dues. And then you have GXL, which is also fancy. Wait. So that's 80,000. That's 90,000. And then that's 85,000. Wait, I think we're changing the shape of it. Going from GX to GXL. Anyway, this is also a ute. Did I mention that? This is a car that is a ute, a troop carrier, or a wagon. Very fun. They also have very fun colors like French vanilla or graphite, which I also find very interesting. And this car is still being made today. If I were to go over to Australia right now, study for 4 months, get a visa, get citizenship, then I could officially walk down to CMI Toyota in South Australia and buy this car. Right now, brand new. Technically, I couldn't buy it with a V8, unfortunately, but yeah. And so let's just talk about, the styles, right? Nowadays, essentially in the U.S., trucks are still kind of trucks, but they're just kind of useless. We have a lot of the Santa Cruzes and a lot of the Hondas, just smaller cars, smaller trucks that aren't as useful as the bigger, Ford Series ones, but they are a whole lot more reliable, at least on the Honda side of things. So let's look at the, how we can package it, right? So, of course, you have your single cab chassis, and then your double cab chassis, which is just shorter bed, which I find is fun, because nowadays, whenever, you change the cab thing, they have to style it, they have to follow all the lines through. This one, they literally just bandsaw, and then, welded on a bottom piece to cover up for the third row. You can also have it in a wagon, which is what I assume most people will be getting it, and then a troop carrier, which is essentially just 2 seats, and then just a big old empty space up back, more like a work van. And the interior is updated. I don't mean that they're still selling a 1984 car right now. I mean, that would be dreadful. Well, it wouldn't be dreadful because, again, good things stay good forever. But, you know, for most buyers, that would be too old, right? This thing still is new. It has a new Toyota steering wheel. It has a new Toyota infotainment system. But the buttons and knobs are still clunky. The dashboard is still like 2014, 2010 Toyota. And you still have a clock in the center of the dash with good, rugged, durable stuff. This car has truly not been updated, you know, since 1974. Now, of course, there have been minor stylistic changes, like, I mean, you can kind of tell the difference. But again, even it looking similar at all, I mean, compare the brand new Chevrolet Trailblazer to the Trailblazer of, you know, the 1990s. There's nothing. There's no resemblance, right? This car is essentially the same one that was sold in, like, 1984. This car, you know, if you want something good, you live in Australia, buy one of these. Now, you know, due to unprecedented global demand, we are currently experiencing extended wait times, essentially called people want good cars and they're willing to wait for them. They've also, unfortunately, stopped selling the 4.8-liter V8 diesel, which is kind of sad to see go, because that was actually one of the more popular versions of the Land Cruiser, but hey, you know, at least we still have it and it hasn't been taken out. At least it's not some sort of crossover, right? So, yeah, and also officially, this car has been made in Australia since 1985. You know, the times lined up a little bit differently just in Toyota release dates. Remember, in the 1980s, Toyota was still a little bit shaky, kind of like Mitsubishi is now. And so, yeah, and that is close to 39 years. That's almost 40 years. That is absolutely insane. 1985, well, technically 1984 is 40 years old. This is a 40-year-old brand new car. Yeah, so again, good things stay good forever, especially when they're built well. And we all know, out of every single car company, Toyota would definitely be the one to build one like this. I mean, look at that raw, unpainted back with the dog in the back with the tire. You can't tell me that that's absolutely iconic. So, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will stop dragging out this video.